I looked over, and about 20 feet away was a hawk staring me down. It was slightly off-putting. I'm the human. Aren't I supposed to be the one feeling superior in a moment like this? Well, it's time for episode 12. What in the cussing hawk? Have you ever felt like the world or the universe or the powers above or some unseen force is trying to tell you something? Every once in a while, I've had a set of experiences or circumstances that make me question if they're correlated and if I should be finding some apparent meaning. I usually end up creating a ridiculous analogy to process the events and try and internalize the potential meanings. I'd actually love to know your thoughts and hear your stories of these "the universe must be telling me some things," and if anything valuable has ever came from that with you. The most recent set of strange, compatible experiences revolve around the majestic and deadly hawk. The 3 hawk experiences we'll dig into today all occurred within the past year. The most recent event was just a couple days ago, and I'm going to work my way backwards, starting at the most recent experience. It's going to be a good old-fashioned hawking good time. The quack, the shriek, and the close call. My clan and I are lucky enough to live by a river. And the river has this awesome trail that goes for miles and miles. And really, it's a blessing that had been underutilized until I got laid off because of the coronavirus pandemic. Thanks, weird, stupid, life-altering, deadly virus, for helping me get healthier and fall in love with the river trail. We've been on plenty of walks down the river trail over the years, but not with any consistency. And I've already said it before in some detail, but the pandemic has been this really nutso blessing in many ways. But if the net result of all of this means I end up losing my house in 6 months, I'll likely feel a little different. But for now, things are rad, and I'm really grateful to have the time to build businesses and just to be with my family. The very day I got laid off a few months ago, I hit the trail really hard with my 2 older boys. And then we started going every day, and that pattern slowly morphed into a walking, running parade thing that we do every morning with the entire family. I'm convinced at this point that one action has greatly helped the whole family in the psychological war of change that's happened in 2020. So anyway, a couple days ago, we had just finished one of our run stints, and I heard this shriek from above. And I've known that sound for as long as I can remember because of the classic Disney film, The Sword and the Stone. Near the beginning and the end of the movie, there's this hawk flying around being a meanie face. The cry of the hawk is a distinctive sound, and unless there was an Academy Award-winning squirrel up in the trees, I knew there was a hawk nearby. The shriek echoed again down the river. It was somewhere right above me, but I couldn't spot it. Just then, it swooped down right over our heads. The thing scared us good, and we all jumped in our pants, followed immediately by my face auto-spitting out, "Whoa, crap!" Good to know what comes out of my mouth on a surprise basis in front of my children. It could have been much worse. It turns out that those shrieks were like a war cry, which doesn't make any sense to me at all when I found out what it was actually trying to catch. I guess if you're a bad mother hawk, you don't need to be sly. This hawk was straight up screaming down to its prey, "Hey, I'm coming for you. I'm a hawk. You're not. Good luck, fool." Guess what it was going for? A duck. The hawk swooped down and went to attack and eat a freaking duck. As it turns out, this hawk was just a little bit too arrogant. The duck made some wild, angry quacks, and it got away just in time. In that moment, it really got me wondering if hawks have ever taken out any small pets, because that was a big duck. Anybody out there ever lose a fifi or a spot to a hawk? I don't think I want to look it up. Analogy for this one. Don't go for more than you can swallow? Dang it! I hate that analogy. I love buffets. The second hawk experience happened a few months ago. I was walking out of my front door, most likely to do something vastly important for the world, like buy more Diet Mountain Dew, or as my buddy Jared calls it, Dewski. By now, some of my genetic makeup is probably owned by the Pepsi company because of my Diet Dewski issues. Jared is also obsessed with hawks, and he's a part of this Hawk Watch society. Maybe I'll join someday. But for now, hawks seem to be coming for me. Anyway, wow. I walked out of my door, and I immediately could sense something moving to my left. I looked over, and about 20 feet away was a hawk staring me down. It was slightly off-putting. I'm the human. Aren't I supposed to be the one feeling superior in a moment like this? Again, hawks just have this air about them. "Hey, I'm a freaking hawk. Yeah, in your lawn, fat man. What are you going to do about it?" It's like the hawk mafia. The boss wants you to know he's not happy. And when he's not happy, he eats you. And I'm the boss, and I'm a freaking hawk. To make it all the more intimidating, the hawk then clenched its talons, which made the bird it was holding writhe in pain. Yeah, it was holding its prey and just glaring at me. This is what I'm gonna do, Benny, if you don't make good on your promise, capiche? It felt like an hour passed by in this moment, just a bearded, portly guy standing on the edge of his front porch, not fully knowing what to do. I'd occasionally look away from the glaring hawk, just looking around for some guidance on what to do, like something was going to appear and tell me that I needed to make an offering to the hawk or something. In reality, it was probably more like 3 minutes altogether. The hawk clenched the poor bird again, and then it flew off. I stood there for a moment, not sure how I should be feeling. Maybe the analogy here is I should just join the mafia once and for all. I have a great Italian last name for it. I even have some friends that refuse to call me by my first name because they think my last name is so fun to say. They'll just be like, "E la pioli, la pioli." It also probably just reminds them of eating ravioli and cannolis. "E la pioli, e la pioli. On behalf of the worldwide network of mafias, we don't accept intimidated by hawk wussies." All right, that wraps up round 2. Now for the grand hawking finale. It was about a year ago. I was driving down the freeway, headed into work for the morning, and suddenly, only several feet above my car was a hawk. It was flying across the freeway at an angle, and the dang thing made me jump. What is it with hawks trying to scare the crap out of me? But get this, in its talons, it had a snake. A big and pissed off snake. It was wiggling around like a chicken doing a dance at a polka party. That doesn't make any sense. It was wiggling around like a snake that was about to be eaten by a hawk that was flying over hundreds of cars, speeding down a freeway at 9 o'clock on a Friday morning. Also interesting to note, there were 4 other little birds chasing after the hawk snake thing. What in the love were those birds doing? Maybe hoping to get a couple bites of the snake once the hawk dug in? Or maybe they just thought it was a really big worm and they instinctively started chasing it down. It was seriously kind of a surreal thing to experience. So what do you think? Is the universe telling me something? Either way, you know what I'm religiously telling myself these days? I will thrive. In that attitude, I should be more like a hawk. I don't want to be arrogant, but I should have a certainty about me. Like there's no question that I'm going to achieve my financial goals and my desire to make an impact. It's simply who I am. So if you see me standing in your yard one morning, tightly grasping a burger, my prey, staring you down as you walk out of your front door, then right before you call the cops, you should at least have the thought, man, that guy knew exactly who he was and what he was doing, no doubt. Or if you see me trying to go after more than I can swallow, then perfect. I'd rather be that person than someone that never left the tree. That morning on the freeway, analogy actually presented itself pretty quickly this time. If life was like the hawk, the snake, and the chasers, then which one would I want to be? I've already been the person looking on at other people's successes, wishing I could be them. Now, I refuse to be someone that's just an observer or a person that only ends up getting the scraps of what's left over from others. I will not be one of the chasers. I've also, sadly, been the person that gets eaten alive by circumstance. This year has managed to do that to a lot of people. Life events and even the people around us can start making us feel like they're about to pick a nice spot on the other side of the freeway and devour us. But we can all find inner resilience that's inside of us. It's there. I promise you it's there. I really think we're all born with it. We just have to uncap it. Then we can be our best selves, regardless of circumstance, and find a way to thrive. It just takes good old-fashioned discipline and the proper tools to become the strongest version of ourselves. I will not be the snake. So yeah, if it's not clear, I want to be the hawk. The maxim, motto, and mantra of I will thrive lines up perfectly as a method to become that person. A hawk person. The I will thrive ideology is up for grabs for anyone. And so far, it's been doing wonders for me. It's a wonderful and simple tool to start building better discipline on how we picture ourselves. If you're interested in immersing yourself with me, that doesn't sound right. You can go to iwillthrive.co and I have a free ebook you can check out, an I Will Thrive ebook. That also leads you to a page where I've got this kind of sweet offer that has this I Will Thrive t-shirt that you can buy. It's just a perfect place to start a journey on becoming more like the freaking hawk. So I'd be super stoked if you want to join me. Thanks so much for listening, for watching, subscribing. You can be my king or queen or something in between on Patreon, and I'll be your personal musician, jester, writer, story, I Will Thrive guy. Thank you so much. I will thrive.